provincia, and I was born in Italy, and I was raised in Canada. So I'm a child of immigrant parents, and when I was growing up, we didn't have very fancy Christmases. We didn't have Christmas trees. My parents thought that was not important. But what was important was panettone bread. And as soon as November hit, you know how we all have pumpkin pie and apple pie? Well, we had panettone bread. And my mother would make her own candied orange peels. And all it is just cut your oranges into slices, then boil them a few times to get the bitterness out, and then coat them in sugar and let them dry. And so she would make her own candied peels, and she would use raisins, and she would use a very, very, very important ingredient. She would go to the pastry shop down the street, only like 50, 75 feet away from our house, and she would ask the lady for levito, which is yeast, but not like this yeast. It was like in a cake. Did you ever see it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Can you buy it here?
I haven't seen it in a long
Used to sell it,
Yeah.
but I don't know if
I
they
haven't
still
seen
do.
it in a long time, but they
Yeah.
used to sell
And
it.
it's like
It's
a
like
cake.
a cake. It's
Yeah.
like a little cake. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she would ask for, a chunk of levito madre, levito, and sometimes the lady would say, I'm all out of it, I don't have any. And so my mother would go to my aunt who lived 3 houses down, and she says, Maria, go see if you can get the levito for me, I'm making panettone. And so my aunt would say, I got it easy, that wasn't the problem, she gave it to me. But I think because they're in the business of selling their panettone, not in the business of giving the yeast that they have at the store, at the bakery. So she, whenever I went there, 4:30 in the morning, just, no, get up, the day is almost over, we have to make the panettone. And she wouldn't just, her recipe, it was amazing. It was like 8 eggs, 8 spoons, 2 spoons per egg, 2 spoons of oil per egg, 2 boiled potatoes, which I didn't put any boiled potatoes in ours, raisins to pleasure, a piacere, then candied fruit, orange piacere, and farina as much as it takes, flour as much as it takes. It was so hard, but she would know by texture. She would know how it felt and when it was right. And so she'd use these big 5-gallon containers, and then she'd cover it, and she'd go about her day, and then in the afternoon she'd look, okay, it's ready. And so she'd start shaping them, and it was just amazing. I wish I would have videotaped her or something, and preserved all these memories. So if you have something special that is holiday and is a tradition, make sure you pass it on to your children and your grandchildren, because otherwise things are lost. But do you know how panettone started? This is what legend says. There was a very poor man who was in love with the baker's daughter, and he wanted to impress her and the father. So what he did is he took his sourdough that he had at home that was meant for Christmas, and he made the most beautiful panettone, because in those days they didn't have yeast like this. They used sourdough starter, their own. And some of them have been going on for thousands of years. So he made this tall bread loaded with raisins, and raisins back then were a sign of wealth. And he presented it to the baker. But that's what legend says. And this dates back to medieval times. And panettone means pane, bread of Tony. The bread of Tony. Panettone. And that's what legend says. But you don't know, but that's what legend says. And it started in Milan, and then it spread, in the 18th century, it spread all over the world. And now everybody has panettone. They make it here. They make it in Germany. They make it everywhere. And it's a sign and symbol of Italian Christmas. So if we didn't have panettone, so we didn't have very fancy Christmases. Our Christmases were being together with family and sharing our panettone, our cookies, but that was what Christmas was all about. It was being with the family. And the children didn't sit at a children's table. We sat around, we used to have these big long tables, and we all sit together and eat, and we even drank wine. Yes, my parents and my uncles and aunts, we'd all get a little bit of wine with 7-Up. Get salsa. Did you have wine too?
What?
When
Drinking
you were-
liquor?
Yeah, when you were a kid.
I've been drinking liquor since I was this height in the grasshopper.
No, but I was like 6, 7 years old and we were getting liquor.
My mother used to give me grappa in the morning to keep me warm.
So,
And I was a kid.
and so this is what it's all about, being together, it's and baking together, starting traditions. So I hope we can do this again. So Panettone is a labor of love. And if you look up any recipes, it's a 3-4 day process. Oh, well, we can't do it in 3-4 days. We'd have to start, today you'd have to come for the sourdough starter, tomorrow you'd have to come for something else. So we're using the yeast and we're gonna cut corners. We're gonna make it grow fast and we're gonna work it and then you're gonna take it home. It's gonna rise and round. You're gonna punch it down and when you punch it down, you're gonna work it on your table and then after you work it, you're gonna put it in the pan, in the form, the paper mold. You're gonna let it grow another 2 hours. Then you're gonna put it in a preheated oven, and 50 minutes later, keep watching it. You'll have it done, and that's it. It's really simple. So shall we get started?
Yeah.
Sure.
So because we don't have a lot of bowls, we're gonna measure 3.5 cups of flour into here. So there's measuring cups over there, and I can see.
And we should probably check the temperature of the milk
Yes.
as well. Lou just got the thermometer. Go around and do that. I can help with that.
Okay, because I have another set over here.
Do these bowls?
Yes, put it in there.
Okay. 3.5 cups.
3.5 cups.
So we'll all
And
just
and
share-
use your knife
just kind
to
of
level
share
it.
the pie. We've got flour
Level
there
it.
and some there.
Over here.
I'm just gonna see how this milk is doing here. 103, so that one's okay. That one's 96. We can always zap them. What's the minimum temperature?
98 to, yeah.
I might need a few seconds in the microwave.
Oh, you have the thing? Okay,
I
good.
got it.
Okay. So level
94,
your
yeah, these are gonna need to be
flour
read.
with a knife.